It was one of the most shocking crimes in Bradford's history. A father brutally murdered in a horrific acid attack. 4 men were convicted and the case was closed. Or so we thought. But now, nearly 12 years later, one of those men, Lee Calvert, has once again fought for his freedom in court. And on March 26, 2025, the judges delivered a devastating blow. His appeal was rejected. It was the early hours of October 14, 2013, when Barry Selby, a 50-year-old father of 3, was fast asleep in his East Bowling home in Bradford. But just hours before his murder, an ominous sign of violence had already erupted. Around midnight, a group of masked men opened fire on a house in the Homewood estate. The home belonged to an associate of Liam Selby, Barry's son. It was a warning, a message of bloodshed to come. Then, less than 3 hours later, the masked men arrived at Barry Selby's house. Without warning, they stormed into his bedroom. Within seconds, a gunshot rang out, shattering the silence of the night. Barry was shot in both legs, leaving him defenseless. His terrified wife, Donna, could only watch in horror. But then came the true nightmare. One of the attackers produced a bottle of industrial-strength sulfuric acid. Without hesitation, they poured it over Barry's head, face, and body. The acid ate through his skin, melted his flesh, and left him with burns covering 50% of his body. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors fought desperately to save him. But 4 days later, on October 18th, 2013, Barry Selby succumbed to his injuries. Within days, police launched a full-scale manhunt. Their investigation led them to 4 men: Lee Calvert, alleged ringleader, Joseph Lowther, Robert Woodhead, Andrew Feather. Authorities claimed that this was a revenge killing gone wrong. The real target was Liam Selby, Barry's son. He had been involved in a long-running gang feud on the Homewood estate. According to police, when the gang couldn't find Liam, they turned their rage on his father instead. In the weeks following the murder, a major police operation unfolded across Bradford. Armed officers descended on Lee Calvert's home, conducting a dramatic raid that saw him dragged from his house in front of his family. He was charged with murder, and 3 others were later arrested and charged alongside him. But according to Calvert's supporters, this was the beginning of a wrongful conviction. In 2014, Lee Calvert and his co-defendants were found guilty of murder after a dramatic 6-week trial. The evidence? Witnesses claimed to see a black Mitsubishi Warrior 4x4 at the scene. A 9mm firearm was allegedly used. Sulfuric acid was poured over Barry Selby. But here's the controversial part. None of these items were ever recovered. No gun, no acid bottle, no vehicle. Despite this, the jury returned a unanimous guilty verdict. The sentences? Lee Calvert, life with a 36-year minimum term; Joseph Lowther, 32 years; Robert Woodhead, 32 years; Andrew Feather, 26 years. But just as the judge handed down the sentence, Lee Calvert exploded in rage. In a shocking outburst, he punched a security guard in the face before being restrained by multiple officers. He screamed that he was innocent, while Barry Selby's family sobbed in relief, believing justice had been served. From day one, Lee Calvert has maintained his innocence. His family insists he was wrongly convicted, claiming no forensic evidence linked him to the crime. Cell phone records showed he was nowhere near the murder scene. Witnesses may have lied under oath. His sister, leading a public campaign, argued that Lee was not a gangster, but a businessman, breeding rare exotic animals, including monkeys and parrots. She spoke at multiple rallies, claiming Lee was not involved in any murder. The police needed someone to blame, and they picked him. The evidence doesn't add up. The real killers are still out there. For years, they fought to clear his name, and in 2021, a major breakthrough came. A key prosecution witness, Raymond Cowan, confessed to a private investigator that he had lied in court. He claimed police pressured him into testifying against Lee Calvert. With this new revelation, Lee's legal team submitted an appeal, hoping to finally prove his innocence. On March 26, 2025, Lee Calvert once again appeared before the Court of Appeal. His defense team presented Cowan's retraction, arguing that his false testimony wrongfully influenced the jury. But then a shocking twist. At the last moment, Cowan changed his story again. This time, he claimed he had been pressured into signing a false retraction. The judges rejected the appeal, ruling, "There is no new evidence that undermines the safety of this conviction. The appeal is dismissed." His supporters were outraged, calling the ruling a miscarriage of justice. Meanwhile, the Selby family celebrated, believing that the right men remain behind bars. As of March 2025, Lee Calvert remains in prison, serving a 36-year sentence for a murder he claims he didn't commit. But many questions remain. If no forensic evidence linked him to the scene, how was he convicted? If his cell records placed him elsewhere, why was this ignored? If witnesses admitted to lying, how reliable was the case? Is Lee Calvert a brutal killer, or was he framed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. For more true crime stories, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This is SN Studios. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.